All right, season 3 of Gauntlet is out, and you're looking for a new build using some of these fresh new cells. So here's a repeater build that synergizes really well with the new Earth cell. So let's jump down in the game and check it out. For the weapon, we're going with the Eldrick's Torment with a Pulse and a Recycle cell in it. We're going to be going with the Marksman Chamber and the Captain's Grip. The Marksman Chamber, because this build is going to really focus in on damaging one part to get the part breaks, because the Earth cell, unfortunately, is not going to give you a lot of extra part damage. It's mostly going to give you core damage, but the core damage is going to bypass parts sometimes. There's some weird stuff going on with the Earth cell, so just bear that in mind. Part breaks aren't very common when you're running Earth, and so being able to use the Marksman Chamber to really focus or help you focus in on one part is going to really help get those part breaks in. Then we're going to go with the Captain's Grip, and this extra speed is going to really help with building up your shields for that extra Earth damage. For the mod, we're going with Precision Sights just to keep with the theme of stacking up that extra damage from hitting the same part over and over again. And for the bond, we're going with Striker's Cries. This is going to give us Assassin's Frenzy, so when we do get a part break, we get some nice speed bonus in there. But also this gives us another stacking damage bonus. All right, for the Omni Cell, we're going with Bastion. Now, we're never going to use the active on this because we're using Earth, but this is going to increase our shield gain and also give us shield gain from attacking, which is going to be the bread and butter for building up that damage with Earth. For the Lantern, we're going with Skarn's Defiance as another way of pumping shields into this build to increase that Earth damage, as well as a +3 Catalyst cell. For the helmet, we're going with the Dark Watch. This is going to give us +3 Cunning and some place to put a nice +3 Berserker cell in this build. For the armor, we're going with Thrax's Shadow. This is giving us another +3 Cunning to max out our Cunning, as well as a +3 Pulse. For the hands, we're going with Grasp of Thorns. This is going to give us a +3 Evasive Fury. Not necessarily something I really wanted in the build, but we really needed another place to put a Earth cell. So we're going to throw a +3 Earth in this. And for our last piece of equipment, we've got Time Weaver's Legs with this is going to give us +3 Catalyst, and we're going to throw the second +3 Earth cell in there to complete the build. Now for the Flask loadout, we're going with the Blitz Tonic because the accelerated attack speed is going to play into Bastion giving us shields. We're going with the Ether Drive Tonic for more uptime on that Skarn's Lantern to help feed us more shields. And then a Frenzy Tonic because damage, why not? So for our perk breakdown, first up we have +6 Catalyst. This is going to give us a 60% bonus to tonic effectiveness and duration. This is going to really help with the Blitz Tonic and the Ether Drive Tonic to keep that attack speed higher and keep that Skarn Lantern constantly pumping in more shields. Next up, we're going with +6 Cunning for the +10% critical strike chance, and most importantly, the +30% critical strike damage. Next up, we have Earth. This is the bread and butter for this build, and going to be a theme with a lot of the builds released this season. What this does is if you have over 200 shields when you attack, it's going to detonate all of your shields and do 400% of your shield value as damage to the behemoth. At +6, it's also going to give you back 100 shields. Then we've got the +6 Pulse. Every 5th hit is going to be a critical strike and giving you an extra 15% critical strike damage. This synergizes really well with that 30% critical strike damage you're getting from Cunning, and basically a guaranteed crit every 5. That critical damage is going to add up really fast. Now I know earlier I said this build doesn't get a lot of part breaks, and that is unfortunate, but this one, when you do get a part break, is going to give you 15% attack speed for 20 seconds, and it's built into the weapon that we have in the bond, so it's kind of stuck in the build. You'll get some use out of it, but it's definitely not going to be up as much as we would like to see. Next up, we've got Berserker +3. This is going to cost us 150 hit points, but it's going to give us a stacking damage bonus of 2%. As long as you keep hitting the behemoth once every 2 to 3 seconds to keep the buff up, you're going to be able to stack this up to a whopping 20% damage bonus. Then we've got Evasive Fury +3. After dodging through an attack, you gain 8% attack speed for 25 seconds. Now, I would like to use something different than Evasive Fury on this build, maybe another +3 to Assassin's Frenzy or that +3 Berserker, but finding enough ways to put Brutality cells into this build just was not happening. And trying to get another Brutality cell in here without picking up Evasive Fury was costing more than it was worth, so we went with Evasive Fury. It's a small attack speed bonus, but it's going to have a lot more uptime on it than something like Assassin's Frenzy. So all in all, it is a benefit to the build. Then lastly, we've got Recycle +3. What this is going to do, it stacks up to 3 times, giving you 10% damage for every stack, and it resets if you hit a different part of the behemoth. So as long as you're hitting the same target part on the behemoth, you're going to keep stacking that up for up to 30% extra damage. A really good sell for a +3, especially on a weapon like repeaters. Now, what I really like about this build is the damage potential on it. It has massive amounts of damage coming off the Earth cell, which is really beneficial all in all. The downside to the build though is, like I mentioned earlier, is a lot of the damage is going to bypass part, bypass stagger, and just do core damage. You're going to have really good clear times on actually dropping the behemoth, but getting the part breaks is going to be a little bit trickier with this build, unfortunately. The build doesn't have a lot of survivability baked into it, even though it's using Bastion, but you do get some survivability as you're going to have a constant like 50 to 150 shield buffer, and your shield sometimes will spike up to 300 or 400 with this build, so a little bit more padding there. As long as you're not attacking, it will build up even further than that. But as long as you're keeping the pressure on the behemoth, you should maintain at least about 100 shield buffer. You're also going to be laying out some pretty good sized crits with the build because of the stacking of cunning and pulse on this particular one. I think the biggest problem with the build though is that it really relies heavily on catalyst. Should be a way to work it in to switch catalyst for etheric attunement, which will lower your damage a little bit because of the lack of the blitz tonic buff, but all in all it is viable at that point. I would recommend though, if you're doing trials, dauntless trials, or Heskas with this build, I would definitely run it with catalyst over etheric attunement. It has great damage and kill time potential on this build, and it's something fun to play around with. And if you're not having fun with the game, what's the point of playing the game? So let me know what you guys think about the build in the comment section down below. Is there anything you guys would tweak or change about it? Did you find a way to put something more useful than that evasive fury into the build? I would definitely like to know if you guys find a way to get the +6 Berserker without losing that +3 Recycle or something else more valuable. Don't forget to like the video if you guys found anything in the video useful. I would really appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe if you are looking for more Dauntless content. I will be putting out more build guides throughout the next couple weeks, and we're really trying to push for 1,000 subscribers before the end of March. I'll be leaving a link in the video description to join the Discord if you guys are looking for some chill people to play Dauntless with. We've got plenty of active members of the Discord channel playing Dauntless, as well as a bunch of active people in the guild. We're currently working on purging out some of the inactive people from the guild to open up spots for some more community members to join the guild. So we'd really love to see you guys all on the Discord server. And if you're a newer player to Dauntless, I'll leave a video right here with a pre-escalation build to help you guys farm those escalation legendary weapons with. And I will see you guys in the next video.